I'm Mike.
And I'm Adam.
And this is Stuff and Waffle. Two friends talking about stuff, and often as not, waffling with frequent reference to Bond cars.
Well, once again, momentous events have occurred.
Momentous, you say?
Yeah.
In your glorious household, I assume.
Our glorious household.
Yes.
We
Go on then.
well, I'll just launch into it. We have bought a car.
Oh, I see.
Mm.
What this might do then is, if it's potentially the car that I'm thinking it might counteract one of the topics I put on my list.
Okay. Okay.
But yes, please do tell.
So, we had quite a busy day yesterday, and things occurred, and we took a bit of a journey, and yes, we have a new vehicle for the lady on the driveway.
I see. Now,
Yes.
is it the model in question that we were talking about last week?
It is.
Right. So, was it the exact spec you were after?
Actually, slightly better than we were after.
Oh,
we have improved upon the spec. So we, we'll talk about the whys and wherefores, but we have purchased a 2013 Mazda MX-5 Venture Edition.
Venture Edition. I'm going to have to look that up because...
Yeah, I didn't. I had to as well. I did. I didn't know it existed 3 days ago, but I very much know all about it now.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
It was it's a late model, so it's a Mark. They refer to it as the Mark 3.5. It's the facelift of the Mark 3.
Yep.
A very late NC. And the Venture Edition basically has everything on it. It's the 2-litre engine, 160 brake horse, and it has, from what I can make out, if it was available on third gen MX-5, it's on the Venture Edition. It's got quite a lot of performance upgrades and quite a lot of sort of comfort and tech upgrades as well. So we have the 2-litre engine. We have sport suspension, Bilstein shocks, limited slip diff, strut brace across the front. It's got it. It's the one you'd want. It's all the power and all the performance.
All the bits and bobs.
Yes.
I've found someone did a blog about it, so I've just found that.
There you go. Yes.
Very good. Yeah, it does look very nice. What colour did you get? Because I've seen a selection of maybe 3 colours.
There were a selection of colours. I think there were more than that, but there are a selection of colours out there. Yeah. This one is black with a tan interior.
Very good.
Good. Hard top rather than canvas top, as you know, that was something that we wanted. I know you would have chosen the canvas top, but yes, we found one at a dealer. Actually, we found one at a Mazda dealer, surprisingly, with only 37,000 miles on it. So ultra low mileage, high spec car, full Mazda service history, and it's in really, really tidy condition.
Excellent. So we
trundled up the motorway yesterday and got that, and had a poke around, had a test drive, and a deal was done.
Did you have to go far for such a treat?
Taunton. So no, not too
distance, really. Then
about an hour and a half. Yeah, indeed. It's funny. It was the third car we bought in Taunton. I don't know how that keeps happening, but there we go.
Fair enough. Well, yeah, that's all right.
But yes, it was from the Mazda main dealer there. And
how pleased is Dawn? That's the big question.
Absolutely delighted.
Good.
We had quite a long test drive in it. They let us take it on our own, which was nice.
Yeah, okay.
And just as well, since it only has 2 seats. And we had quite a long test drive of sort of windy country roads and a bit of motorway. She wasn't sure at first because it is obviously very different to anything she's had before. But it's a proper sports car. But she really fell for it during the test drive, and she's very, very pleased with it.
Excellent. So you got back and pulled the trigger.
We got back and pulled that trigger. Yes, a conversation was had and a deal was done.
Lovely.
There it is. And it's a really nice example. It's a really nice example. We're very pleased with it. The Venture edition, which, like you, I knew nothing about a few days ago. As I say, it kind of has everything on it, so it seemed to be the obvious one to go for. Mm-hmm. I was looking for a sport, but the Venture is a sport, but with more. They seem to throw everything at it. She wasn't sure about the interior color at first, but once we saw it, it was fine, and I really like it. I think black with a tan interior works really well.
Yeah, classic.
Yeah, it is classic, isn't it? Yes, absolutely. It is classic. It's really, really nice. We're very pleased with it. So there we go. Let's moved that on a little bit.
I'm assuming, obviously, that with it being Dawn's vehicle, she was having a go and making sure she likes it. Did you have a proper go as well? That's the question.
I was in it. I haven't driven it yet.
You haven't?
No, I haven't. Not
yet.
Shit
the bed.
Yeah, indeed. I haven't driven it yet. I got in it. I got in the driver's seat at the dealership, the driving position is going to need some adjustment for me. I just about fit.
Well,
but
we come with different issues.
Yes. Indeed so. I fully intend to drive it, and I will sort that out. But there wasn't really an opportunity for me to yesterday. But the important thing was that Dawn got comfortable with it because it was her car and it was her that was buying it. So.
Okay, so that will form part of next week's episode then, because
it certainly will. Yes,
you would have driven it by then.
I certainly will. I may well do it tomorrow. Allow me to furnish you with a photograph.
Just going to ask. At the minute, I'm relying on blog posts at the moment.
Yes, you can't see the actual one. So allow me to do that for you.
The last time you did this, the photo popped up and it had black wheels on it. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen this time.
That did happen last time, didn't it? Yes.
I'm fairly confident it doesn't.
See the wheels in this particular picture.
I could see they're not black.
They're not. No, they are silver.
Look at that. It does look tidy, doesn't it?
It is very tidy. Yeah. Allow me to furnish you with an interior picky so you can get the colour of that. It's got a touchscreen infotainment system and built-in sat-nav on this model as well, which is a nice little extra.
I'm assuming it's the sort of infotainment of its era.
Oh, very much so, yes. It's not very good.
Little clunky, but the noises come out, so that's what you want. Oh, there you go.
Little clunky. It's akin to the system that's in the Jag. I mean, it's the same. It's 7 months older than the Jag. Okay. So, there's kind of muchness.
Yeah, look at that. It's just, it is. It's a lovely thing. There you go. It's nice to.
I think it is a lovely thing. It's it's got a lot going for it, and it's a serious discussion was had about Porsche Cayman, but money wise, what she spent on this has got an absolutely top spec car. That same money would have got us into a kind of bottom spec, quite leggy Cayman. What's top of the mark for an MX-5 is going to be scraping entry level for a Cayman.
I know. I know, for instance, like I said, I've got something on my list which relates to this quite heavily, because I know a certain gentleman that will be screaming at his podcast listening device at the moment.
Okay.
Last week, I was very cross with myself because I had a discussion with Chris, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I didn't suggest that. I'll put it down to Thursday being particularly awful with stuff going on.
Yes.
But Chris said, for the love of God, why didn't you two think of a Z4?
I don't think that would have flown with the person doing the purchasing.
That's fair enough. I thought that would be the case, but I thought I was going to bring it up anyway. But then you said, "Oh, you've pulled the trigger." I was like, "Oh, bloody hell!"
Well, I didn't expect us to pull the trigger this quickly. This car came up, and we just decided to go for it.
Mm-hmm.
It was quite a sort of rapid decision, really. But I mean, you asked me last week, "Is this imminent?" And I was thinking, "Well, yeah, maybe in the next 2 or 3 months." But
yeah.
I didn't think within the next 2 or 3 days.
I was going to say imminent, and you're like, ish. But it's like, yeah. But
we've actually done it.
The thing is, it's a vehicle for Dawn. Dawn is delighted.
Yes.
So that is the main thing. And to be honest,
that is the main thing. Absolutely. Yeah.
And I think we've all got a little place in our heart for an MX-5.
You can't not, can you? Really, you can't not. They're such a cracking little thing. They always have been, and they remain so. And it's such an endearing car.
It's well, it's like when the original one came out, it was a hark back to those old British sports cars, but just done well.
Exactly, and it is exactly what it sets out to be. No more, no less. It's such a it had such a clear purpose, didn't it? And it fulfills that purpose so well. It is exactly what it is supposed to be. It's not trying to be anything else. It is what it is, and it does it so well.
Yeah, it does. So I am. Yeah, I think that Dawn's done incredibly well there. I think that's brilliant.
I think so. And she said when we were driving back yesterday, she said, I wasn't sure when you suggested an MX-5, but now I see what you meant. This is bang on. This is exactly what I want. It's exactly what she wanted, because it's one of the few more modern cars that still have a very analog feel to them.
I can see that.
It's still quite weighted steering, as kind of notchy gear shift. It's a very old school car, even though it's relatively modern. It's not done with tech. The steering's not over assisted, the brakes aren't over assisted. It's just kind of it's the way you'd want it to be. It's a proper driver's car.
I think you've done well there.
And this particular one, I mean, again, buying it from a Mazda main dealer, we've got a 12 months warranty with it. It's got a new set of Toyo tires on it, new discs and pads all round. It's just been serviced last week. It was MOT'd last week with no advisories, and I've been right over it since, and I can't find anything wrong with it at all. I think we've done all right.
Yeah, you've done very well there. What does this mean for the Puma?
Well, I was going to come on to that, because that is if you like, the elephant in the room, isn't it? It's what has become of the Puma. Well, allow me to furnish you with another photograph.
Yes, please.
Which might give you a clue as to what happened or what is happening with the Puma. Now, the Puma, has developed some more issues, shall we say.
Okay.
The rust has started to creep back in the areas that we didn't have fixed earlier in the year. It started leaking oil. It had started pulling to the right. It was making some horrible creaking noises again. None of those things in themselves are necessarily particularly bad, but it was going to have to go back to the garage and probably have more money spent on it even now. And we had a discussion, and Dawn has basically had enough of it. She's just not prepared to pour any more money into it. So again, a conversation was had with the dealer. We didn't want it. We wanted to see, if there was a deal to be done. We didn't want it scrapped. It's too good for that. So we talked to the dealer who was selling the MX-5 and said, okay, if we trade this in, what would you give us for it? We're not expecting a lot, obviously. It does have a write-off in its history, for those that don't remember that, which obviously does reduce it. Yes, it was for a stupid reason, but it does reduce its value. So we had a discussion with the dealer, and they said, well, look, we'll take it. We'll take anything, but we they gave us some examples of some of the things they've taken, but they said they had a look at it, and they said, yes, we think it's too good to scrap as well. They put it in their workshop and up on the ramp and had a look at it and said, yeah, we think it's too good to scrap. It's got 11 months MOT on it. It's it's a perfectly serviceable vehicle, and actually driving it up yesterday was absolutely brilliant. Well, apart from the fact that it was pulling a bit on the motorway and things like that, and creaking, and the things that it does. But they are going to send it to a classic auction, where we're hoping it will be picked up by somebody who wants to look after it and keep it around. But it's not being scrapped.
Okay, good.
But as much as it's disappointing to let it go, we don't have room for it. We can't garage it. And Dawn isn't prepared to just keep pouring money into it. And the reality of it is, it's going to need 1,000, 1,500 quid probably every 6 months from this point on. Every MOT is going to need more welding. I mean, the rust, it's coming through on the passenger side rear arch now, whereas it was the driver's side one that we had fixed and underneath earlier in the year. Bottom of the doors are going, the boot lid's going, the sills are going. It's starting to creak again, which makes me feel like something's probably detaching again underneath. It had a snapped spring, as you know, earlier in the year. It's just got to that age where it's starting to snowball, and she just isn't prepared to put any more money into it. She'd rather move on.
Fair enough. It's important to make the decision sometimes. Let's just
it is, and it's a shame because it's brilliant, and I'm sure over time they will go up in value. But A, that one has a write-off in its history, and B, how much? All right, in another 10 years they might be worth something, but how much do you have to spend on it in that 10 years to get it there? And we can't garage it. We haven't. And we do live by the sea.
It's the garaging thing that's going to hurt that.
The rust, since we've been living here at the new location, has progressed alarmingly. On the driver's side rear wing, I was looking at it at the weekend, and there's paint actually falling off it now.
Good, nice,
revealing rust underneath it. So all right, it got through an MOT, but it will never get through an MOT without needing proper money spending on it.
Yeah.
And that's, as much as she loved it, and she wasn't sure about the MX-5 before she'd driven it. But it was just a decision we had to make in the end. So, but the important thing is it's not being scrapped. It is going to a classic auction, so hopefully it will get picked up by someone who wants to keep it.
No, that's good then. That's good. As long as it's got a lease of life, that's the main thing.
We were very clear we didn't want it scrapped. If they said they were going to scrap it, we wouldn't have traded it in. That was very. I mean, they didn't. Financially, it made no difference either way. So,
No.
But they looked at it and said, no, we agree, this is too good to scrap. So we'll get it off to an auction. Obviously auctions are no guarantee, but hopefully it'll be picked up by somebody who wants to keep it going. So yes, that was the other part of what I wanted to talk about. Is yes, we've got this new car, but what's happening with the old one?
So that's happened. Oh God, right. Let's close it off then. Let's go. What is the fate of the Fiesta at this point?
Yes, that's a very good question. Yes, well, that is now back with us. So there are a couple of issues with that. Front track rods were both bent, and part of the front bumper assembly had detached and was dragging on the road.
Excellent.
So they have dealt with those issues, and they haven't done it yet, but it's booked in to have the rear bumper and the rear smashed lights replaced. And then hopefully that's enough to get it through an MOT, although having had a good poke around with that before it went up there, there is actually rust creeping into that, which was a bit of a shock, given that that's a 2012 Fiesta. That's a much newer vehicle.
Well, it is, but it's a Ford of that era, isn't it?
There's rust starting to appear on the rear arches of that as well, but it is in generally such poor cosmetic condition that I'm not getting involved in that.
No. That's not your area. You'll perhaps advise, but that's your lot.
I'm not getting involved in that. So that's got an MOT coming up end of July.
Fine.
So we will see what happens with that. We won't make any rush decisions on that. It's back now. Yeah. And they've done whatever it is. I'm imagining there's some liberal use of cable ties in there. Well, not on the track rod ends, on the bumper, I mean.
Yeah. They're not cowboys, for goodness sake, no.
No, they're very good up there. I wouldn't, not saying anything against that particular garage. They've been very good. But it is back, and it has stopped making horrific noises. So.
Mm-hmm. Oh, this is good.
So so there we go. That's a fleet update from us.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yes. Jag, Mazda, Nakadell Fiesta. There you go.
Well, I mean, you've not lost space on the driveway, so let's go with that.
There you go. Absolutely. And yes.
Although you are still a little tight for a visiting vehicle on the driveway, aren't you?
Yeah, we are. We are. We could do quite a substantial bit of gardening, because that would free up a bit more parking space.
I could, because I'm thinking you could probably, if you did a bit of gardening as you drive in, you could probably form another sort of parking spot on the right hand side of the garage door.
Yeah, that is a plan that's been seriously discussed. Yes. Yeah. We obviously are due to have some building work done here sooner or later. Don't get me started on that. That is not car related, but is Anyway,
An awful lot of bell ends involved, isn't there?
Oh, there's an awful lot of paperwork as well. Yes, but additional parking will ultimately be made here for certain. But as we stand at the moment, it kind of threes your lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even when two of them are quite small.
Yeah. No, that's fair enough. Very good. Very good.
But, so there you go. A fleet update. We have finally got the little convertible sports car.
There you go. Well, I'm very pleased. I look forward to seeing it as well.
Yeah, you should. It is a cracking little thing. I'm very impressed with it because I've never, I don't think I've even ever been in MX-5 before. I mean, I knew a bit about them, obviously, but
I've been in a few, but I've never been in an NC. I think the newest I've been in is an NB.
Well, the NC, I mean, I dug into it a bit before, as you do, before we bought one, and it seems to be the sort of least popular of the bunch. But
it's probably unfair, really, isn't it?
I don't see well, I think because it was sort of a bit bigger and a bit heavier than the previous ones, and therefore, a touch slower. But that's why I wanted the 2-litre.
But unfortunately, as time progresses, it's like, well, yes, the Mark 1, the NA was really lightweight, but the NC, for instance, is a different era and has to conform to certain things, so hence why it's a bit heavier. So
exactly.
It's what it is.
All the safety gear and everything. You couldn't build a car. It's like when people, hark back to the classic Mini and say, "Oh, I don't build cars like that anymore." Well, no, because they couldn't. They would never pass any modern safety regulations.
No, they wouldn't.
The crumple zone in an accident is your face. It's
true.
There's nothing else there.
I'm quite curious. I'm gonna pop in and see what weight they are.
Oh, that's a good shout. Yes. I may have come across that at some point in my research, but I can't remember.
Oh, there you go. So just under 1,200 kilos. I tell you what, almost exactly the same weight as my car.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Okay. And interesting, we won't mention numbers, but it cost about the same as your car as well. So,
okay. Well, yeah, I suppose it would. It's in that ballpark, isn't it? Yeah,
it is. Yeah, that's what they are now. Yeah. So we've got if you include the Jag as well, that's 3 cars that have all cost about the same, but couldn't be more different.
They are quite different.
We've bought 3 very, very diverse cars there.
I appreciate the Japanese element of that one, though. I'm all over that.
I knew you would. Yes. Knew you would.
Yes,
as much as you wanted it to be a Cayman, I knew you'd like the fact that it's Japanese.
Yeah, I'm all over that. That's glorious. I tell you what, should we borrow that little Cayman segue and get us on to Porsche?
Oh, please.
Because we have had the unveiling this week on Tuesday of all the spy shots that we've seen and all of the articles we've seen leading up to it, but the first ever electrified or hint of electrification in a 911.
This has completely passed me by. I've had quite a busy week.
So it's the hybrid one.
Oh, okay, right. I did know about that. Yes.
So that's what we've got. It's out. You can place your orders now.
There we go. I see it now. Yes, first ever electrified 911. Well, it was coming, wasn't it? We knew it was coming. It's the first step on the road.
So that's it. So you can have the GTS in what they're calling T hybrid, which is a really simple setup. So it's again, we can liken it back to my car. It's an assist. It's not drive on electric.
Yes, it's not. Yeah, that's right. It doesn't drive the wheels. Yeah.
The setup is very similar to my car as well. It's the electric motor becomes part of the gearbox. So what they're saying is it's a little motor with a 1.9 kilowatt hour battery. Nothing massive at all.
Right.
The whole hybrid package adds 50 kilos.
Right.
which is bugger all in the grand
It's
scheme.
nothing, is it? Yeah, it's nothing.
So it
Yeah.
adds that to a turbocharged flat six 3.6 litre. So the entire power output is 541 horsepower.
Yeah.
It's going to be really good.
It is, isn't it? It is.
It's.
I mean, like all hybrids, it's a stepping stone on the way, isn't it? We know where they're headed.
We do, and you've got to take it. You got to take it gently with the 9.
Oh, you do with the 9. Yeah, you do. Yeah, really, very slowly. Let's get used to the idea. Yes.
Yeah, the engine itself is an evolution of the entry-level ones, the 3 litre turbocharged ones, but obviously it's bored out to 3.6. So, and it's going to be because this is the Gen 2 of the 992. This hybrid version is going to be a direct replacement for the current GTS.
Okay.
So, in terms of how the power is split, 485 is engine. The remaining 56 horsepower is the electric boost.
Right, which of course reduces its emissions.
Yep.
So, yeah.
And in terms of oomph, so being turbocharged and hybrid, 450 foot-pounds of torque. Rear-wheel drive. Glorious.
Of course.
But being the GTS, well, it's the wider track at the back, so it looks that little bit better as well.
Yes, I've just got some pictures of it. Yeah.
Really nice. And the subtle tweaks as well. You've got on the front of the hybrid ones. They've got those grills either side of the main intake at the front.
Yes, I see that. Yeah.
Bit of a different take. It really looks nice.
Yeah.
I have been on the configurator.
Of course you have. Of course you. There's always time in your week for that, isn't there?
I've had an incredibly busy week, but not too busy.
Not too busy for that.
No, not too busy for that. So just for clarity, let's just check what the starting price is. I don't want to get this wrong. So the hybrid range starts at 132,000 and some pence.
Yes, well, it wasn't going to be cheap, was it?
No. So I've run through mine, and I've been reasonably sensible. So I've spec'd it just so.
I imagine you have, yes.
Yeah, so I'm up to 140,000 and some pence.
Okay, well, that's remarkably restrained.
Yeah, I thought so, but I thought I did very well. I can send you the actual link to my full configuration.
Oh, please do. Please do. But you don't go crazy when you're speccing these, because we've done this before.
No,
you
it's
do
very
choose
sensible.
quite a subtle spec. Yeah, you don't go crazy. Oh, there it is. Let's have a look here. Then I knew it'd be red. Guards red by any chance?
Yeah.
Yes, I see. I'm starting to learn it. Oh yes. Oh, sorry. Just have to. Yes. Accept all. Yes.
There are a couple of cookies there. So yeah, I've gone for. I've gone for guards red. One of the standard wheel choices, the Carrera S wheels, the C8T ones. I went for the standard leather, but with just contrasting stitching.
Yeah, that's very subtle. That. Yeah.
I kept it simple on the seats. Sport seats, only 4-way adjustment to keep the weight down a little bit. I've gone for the aero kit because I'm a child.
You like all that, don't you? Yeah.
I went for the mirror bases painted in exterior colour because black bases on the mirror annoyed me.
Okay, fair enough. Well, we don't want you annoyed, do we? No, that's nice. Yeah, simple.
The slat inlays on the rear lid painted in exterior colour. That was just such a nice little adjustment. I had to have that.
See, there are so few cars that you can go down to this level of detail when specking.
That's it. So what else do I have? Full deletion of badges and model designations.
Oh, I noticed that. Yes, no badging at all. Very good. Yeah.
Plain and simple.
Yeah. Nobody's business what it is.
No, that's it. It's already a sports exhaust, but I treated myself to titanium tailpipes.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Well, because the normal sports exhaust comes with quite matte black tips on it, and because the car has got silver wheels, I thought, I tell you what, titanium silver tips would look quite nice.
Mm-hmm.
On the interior, I've accented it with the exterior colour because
I noticed that. Yes, that's proper old school. That is. Yeah.
Guards red seatbelts. Yes.
Of course. Yes.
Aluminium pedals. And because I like my banging tunes, I've gone for the Bose system inside.
Oh, that's something MX-5 has got. That's got Bose audio. Yes, very good. Very good. I have to say, that's a lovely spec.
Yeah, I've gone for it on that. I thought
but it's not crazy. It's honed in.
I've thought about it, and I thought, that's nice. It is. Just so. It's worth noting as well. These hybrid ones are PDK only.
Yeah, I did notice that. Yeah.
Which from, if you read through it, they said it's kind of the best way to deal with the hybrid system being part of the gearbox. So that's just what you're going to have to live with.
Yes. Yeah, well, I mean, the pure electric versions are going to be effectively automatic, aren't they? So when they happen. So, that's lovely. That's a lovely space. Yes, and as you say, 140 big ones there.
Yeah. So let's face it, it's going to be a hell of a thing to drive, and they are going to sell like hotcakes.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. And it starts to get the brethren used to the idea of electrification.
Yeah. It's worth noting as well that as part of the 992 Gen 2 revamp, the regular Carrera has been done as well.
Okay. Right.
Nothing groundbreaking. We don't even have the S yet.
Right.
So what they've done is, I think engine's roughly the same, but they've given it the better turbos and better intercooler that on the outgoing GTS. So it's an increase of 25-ish horsepower from the current one.
Okay.
So, and I think like I said, I'm not sure when the S is coming, but obviously it's non-S at the moment, but it's still a 0 to 60 time of sub 4 seconds for the absolute entry level 911, which is that's brilliant.
It's quite brisk, isn't it? That.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's still a nice thing. They've not fiddled too much on the outside at all, so it's there's something to be said for the 992. I struggled a bit with the 991 because it was such a bigger car than the 997, but now the 992 is quite big in itself. The proportions feel a little better. So,
okay,
I'm happy.
You really are a 911 nerd, aren't you?
But we are now at the point of going, right, an entry level 911 with nothing on it is $100,000 car.
Yeah. They've been heading that way for a while, haven't they?
Which is it's a difficult pill to swallow because in my head, a brand new off the peg entry level 911 is $70,000.
Yeah, but everything's done that though, isn't it? Everything's done that. I mean, a 5-door family hatchback now is $30,000, whereas we think it should be 12 or 15. It's just the way it's gone, I'm afraid.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a difficult pill to swallow, but it doesn't
is.
detract from
It
the
is.
fact that one day there will be a 911, and it will be on my driveway.
Oh yeah, no, that's absolutely. Yeah. I agree. It's going to happen. You'll get there.
Kaylee would ask me what one it's going to be, and it's like, well, I know roughly what the first one will be, so it's not a problem. I've got it covered.
The first one.
Yeah, gotta work.
Yeah.
You have to transcend through them, you see.
Yeah,
So,
I get that. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Yes, you know what the first one will be. The second one is up for discussion.
Yeah.
Oh,
and then I tell you what, the first one.
She should be aware of this.
I tell you what, the first one is going to be a bitter pill to swallow for me, I think, because I have, and I know a few people who'll chuckle at this. I have a real issue with the 997 Gen 2 rear lights. I think they're overstyled, and it really bothers me. But I still think the first 911 I'll have is a 997 Gen 2 Carrera S.
Is that driven by, what is the driving factor behind that? Price?
It's what you get for your money. It's
okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just and the 997.
So you're looking at value.
I'm looking at value, and I'm looking at the fact that the 997, if I look past the rear lights on the Gen 2s, is just a wonderful bit of packaging. But with all of the added benefits of it being a Gen 2.
You've put a lot of thought into that, I can see.
I have. So yeah, Kaylee knows that's a real contender for first 911. What she doesn't
one day that will happen.
What she doesn't realise is there will be subsequent 911s, but that's something for her to worry about another day.
That's a conversation for another time. You don't need to get into that at this stage.
No. Do you remember last week I was cursing because of I couldn't, my car cleaning stuff had been binned, so I bought new stuff.
That's right.
So then I was correct. The following morning, after we recorded, my stuff arrived, and I was like, "Oh, shiny things, lots of stuff." And there's me sniffing my little pot of wax, going, "Oh, it smells lovely, that does." And we got me towels and me applicators and me clay bar, new clay bars, and this is dirty but clean.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. Not dirty. That's
no.
The fact. Yes.
So there's me reveling in all the new goodies, and I was like, "This is lovely." And
you can't beat a new Maguire's delivery.
No, not at all. Not at all.
It's a special moment. It really is.
Then that evening, Kaylee said, "Like, I know you've had quite a week. Do you think you would be up for a barbecue?" Yes, I would. Yes, let's cook some meat, and I will man make fire and drink beer.
You will consume the meat.
Yes, I will consume. I'll cook it, consume it, and inebriate myself while doing it.
That's the procedure.
That is after the week I had. That was the only procedure that I would have accepted. So yeah, that was fine. So I got everything set up. It was the first barbecue of the year. So the barbecue was easy to find. That's quite big. And I'm like, where the fucking hell's all the gubbins? So I found my big old bag of charcoal. Not a problem.
Very good.
Not an issue. Found the little chimney to heat up the charcoal in. Fine.
Yeah.
And I'm like, where's me tongs and me forks and all that caper? And I'm like, that's gone. That is. So
Oh no, not that as well.
So I turned that garage upside down after a whole week of just carnage at work and then going, oh, isn't a barbecue a nice idea? And then realizing I don't have any of my barbecue paraphernalia other than being able to light it. Oh, fuck.
Other than the actual barbecue, yeah.
So I turned the garage upside down and found it all. And next to it was all of the car cleaning stuff.
No.
Honestly, I unearthed the garage was in turmoil. It was buried in the furthest corner underneath the most shit imaginable. And I'm like, oh, you've got to be joking. This is salt in the wounds. This is.
So it hasn't been thrown away.
No. And Kelly's like, oh, I thought that had gone. No, it's still there.
It's all still here. All the stuff I've just replaced is still here.
So my collection has grown substantially.
You've now got 2 of everything.
Yeah. Well, I've got different sorts now.
Well, it won't go to waste, will it? It won't go to waste.
No, but it won't. The only downside is it's either been raining ever since or I've been busy ever since.
Yeah, the weather's not been brilliantly cooperative over the last 7 days. No.
It's annoying. Today's actually been all right, but I mean, I'm working, no chance. Not even a lunchtime break with it being half term. Kaylee's been working, so I've been indoors dealing with small people at lunchtime. So.
Oh, there's no way you're cleaning a car.
No. Never going to happen.
No.
Never going to happen. But there we go.
No. All I know is to come and have a lend if I run short on my Maguire's collection.
Oh yeah, we got plenty. Yeah,
you got more than Alfred's over there.
I do. I've got more than that. I've got more applicators than I can shake a stick out. I've got. Oh, what else have I got? I don't even know. Microfibers. Do you want a microfiber? I've got a lot.
Oh, I'd love a micro. You can never have too many microfibers. I'll tell you one thing I am out of is alloy wheel cleaner.
Hey, it's bound to be in there. Don't you worry.
Yeah, I need to do an order myself.
Oh, it's beyond mad.
Well, I mean, that's it's a better result than it might have been.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. It's not the end of the world. It was just like I said. It was just a little bit of salt in the wounds.
It was. The day all your new stuff arrived, you found all the old stuff.
Yeah, there was a hint of swearing.
Yeah, I imagine. So, especially as you had been told specifically it had all been thrown away.
Yeah. I mean, it's gone. That's it. Never to be seen again. And yet, when I had a rummage, it was to be seen again.
To be seen again. Good. Well, I mean, that's good because, it would have been terrible waste if it had all been thrown away.
Yeah, so that's fine. So hopefully at some point this week I'll be able to sort of tick it off. But
having a little rub at the weekend.
Yeah, it seems unlikely. Kaylee's working, so that means I'm on duty again. It's Nürburgring 24 hour as well, so that's going to be a thing.
Oh, forget it then. No, not this weekend. No.
Yeah.
No rubbing for you.
No, it's going to be beery if it all goes to plan. But I mean, I do have 1,000,001 jobs to do before I can sit down and enjoy that.
Yes.
And I just like I said to you pre-podcast, it's like one of the kids has given me something grotty, and I don't feel brilliant either. So.
Yeah, exactly. So that's just not going to happen, is it? Really, grubby cars will continue into next week.
Yes, yeah, I think so. But I'll report back on that. I tell you one cheery thing that's automotive-ish related this week.
Yes.
Well, it is. It's not my cars or vehicles, but I have purchased MotoGP tickets this week.
Oh, of course you have.
Yeah. So, well, it's celebration as well. This one because oh no, it's probably fine. He probably won't listen. I'm taking Dad for his birthday.
Oh, okay.
So
that's a nice thing to do.
Yeah. So yeah, but we'll have an excursion for that. And yeah, really looking forward to it. Bit of bikes, bit of beer, bit of, well, if anything, like last time there's anything to go by. Oh my God, I was out of my tree.
Oh, that seems quite likely. Yeah. I would expect that. Yeah.
I'd gone. I drank the beer, then I drank the box of wine, then I drank the whiskey, and then there was drum and bass.
No. Did you throw some shapes? I seem to recall you did.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. There was shape throwing, and I tell you what, there was a double win that evening as well, because that all unfolded in the first night. There was a double win. The fact that I didn't have a hangover when I woke up, and I didn't have to get up for a piss in the night.
Oh, well, that's a rare treat.
What on? I mean, I feel like a king.
That's happened for years.
No, and then after all of that, so I stirred in the morning, all was well. I'll be honest. I mean, Rob and I were sharing a tent. There was a little bit of fart tennis in the morning.
Well, it's to be expected.
It's gonna happen,
really.
But Chris, I tell you what. So we emerged from the tent. Chris was kind enough to present me with fried goods. He'd been offered breakfast. He gets extra points for that.
Oh, what a lovely chap. Oh, top marks for that.
Yeah,
yes,
delivery
on schedule.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that was good. So yeah,
Fine work.
Very much looking forward to a bit of that. But that's not till August. So, but it's just nice to get the admin out of the way and get bits and bobs bought.
You know, it's coming up now. That's important.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's good. Yeah, I know that's motorsport, but I tell you what, that in terms of content for us, there was bound to be a story about me doing something silly, so it's worth its weight in gold.
Oh, well, that's a given, isn't it? Yeah, you're bound to embarrass yourself at some point.
Oh, of course. I mean, like last time,
standard.
Last time, obviously, did the usual trip over the guy ropes of tents.
That's just basic stuff, isn't it?
It does happen. And then certain people going, "Oh, I thought you were called Grandad. I thought you were going to be subdued." No,
that's not where the name comes from. No.
I can be sleepy, and I can be lazy, but I can be a right handful too.
Yeah, a bit of a liability if the wind's in the wrong direction. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Give a man the right amount of beers and just a hint of drum and bass, and he's gone.
Oh, those tent strings will be twanging all night.
But there we go. Well, we'll have to give it a couple of months, and we'll have another nonsense story. But I tell you what, I think next week what we need is a thorough MX-5 update, because I want a Quentin Wilson level review of the vehicle.
It hasn't got a private plate on it.
No, that's fine. I mean, you can work on that in the interim, but I mean, if you don't want to do like full on pervy Quentin Wilson review, if you just want to go casual review, if you can combine it with a bit of what I'm really asking for here is something that we can put on social media of you going full Woollard on the front wheel, if you could.
Right.
That's what I want.
Hopefully can make that happen for you. I'll really make that live for you.
That's I think that's what I want, and probably everyone listening wants now. They've popped the idea in their heads.
Yes, that's an image, isn't it?
Yeah, what I need you to do is I need you to assume the position on the vehicle, and obviously escort Dawn out to take the photo.
Obviously.
What if you can lead her out without giving the game away, and then just assume the position? And
she won't know what Woollarding is.
No,
so we're fairly safe on that. She'd say, "What are you doing?" Mind you, I've got to be careful there, because this has the lowered sports suspension. I don't know if I can get my foot on top of I might have to turn the wheel. This could get quite technical.
That's fine, as long as.
I wonder if I could do a more nimble man, because it's parked next to the Jag. You could do a double Woollard and actually be sort of suspended in the air with a foot up on both cars.
Now that's probably that's a manoeuvre beyond your abilities. I'm going to call it
is.
Now.
I've overreached myself with that idea. That's not going to happen.
If you do that, you're going to pull a hamstring. I'm going to be honest with you.
I am. Something's going to go twang if I attempt that.
Yeah.
The double Woolard is reserved for only the most limber car enthusiasts.
It's interesting you refer to a double Woolard. We did that actually on the Eurotunnel going to Le Mans last year, but it was double in the sense of there was two of us doing it.
Different kind of double. Yeah, one on each side. Yeah.
No, one front wheel, one rear wheel. Actually, we had a side-on shot. It was good.
Okay, I'll see what I can do on the Woolarding for you. Yes.
But, yeah. I think our Instagram needs that.
I think it will give it the boost we've been looking for. Yes.
Oh dear, I can't wait for that. Right, let's wrap it up, and then next week will come quicker. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's like Christmas. If you go to sleep quicker, it's more something like that. Anyway.
Yeah. But I tell you what, no, let's finish off. Let's commend Dawn on her purchase, and I am really looking forward to seeing the vehicle. And yes, give her a thumbs up from me.
Oh, I certainly will. We need to make that happen. And I still haven't seen yours, you knob.
Yeah. I tell you what, maybe we could combine the two events. That would be
we have a bit of a sort of Japanese coming together there. Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that. That seems like a solid plan. You'll have to. Numbnuts is on call this weekend, so you'll have to wait at least a week. But there we go.
Yeah, it won't be ready by next weekend, but I'll next week. But I'll see if I can get a Woolard going for you.
Perfect.
Well, I think that's probably enough of that for this week. Check us out on all the various social medias and things. Thank you very much for listening.